Welcome back, Blade fans. This old sword's back with you once again. And I've got something new and interesting, and it truly is new and interesting. It's new because it hasn't even arrived on dealers' shelves yet. It is a design by Dirk Pinkerton based on a much older design from something called the Gerber Paul Knife, if you recall that, you old blade collectors out there. Um, and it is going to be produced by B'Yond EDC. Now, this is a prototype. I'm going to repeat that. This is a prototype. It lacks features that will be on the production knife. It's going to be in the upper level production knife from B'Yond EDC, and that is called the TerraMundi line. Probably going to be up close to 300 or maybe more. I'm not 100% sure what the final price will be. Dirk says he will be signing 200 certificates of authenticity on those. And again, they should be out by B'Yond EDC in about a month or two from the date that this video drops. Trying to get you all the correct info. Now, let's take a look at what we've got. You can see it is a button lock. There's the button, but there is not the button there that you would normally see. I'm going to open it in a moment, but let's take a look at what we've got in the closed position. Titanium handle, M390 blade. That will stay the same. There is no clip on this one because, again, it is a prototype. They were mainly checking out, refining the action on it. This one also is different in that it's locked in the closed position and locks in the open position. Now you notice there's a flipper tab there, and I can't flip it, but no worries. That's going to change also. And I'm told the ones that they're getting ready for production are very fidgety, very, very nice and fidgety. So yeah, you're lacking jimping there. You're lacking any use of the flipper tab at this moment. I'm opening it with two hands, but the lock is really drum tight. And there you can see we have a beautiful Wharncliffe in the style that Dirk likes to do them, where you've got on this one, rather than a little upward cant, you have a little downward cant from the axis of the handle. Makes cutting with it really nice for an EDC. Very fine point. Again, it's going to be an M390 steel. You can see there's no markings on this blade because, again, it is a prototype. So please don't comment and say that you wouldn't get it because it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that. This is a very early production prototype that I was able to purchase from Dirk because he doesn't have a need for these things. They serve their purpose, and for me it's unique because it has some value as a collector in being a prototype, okay? Beautiful jimping in here. I think that will be retained by the final one. Dirk always likes to use a lot of jimping. It is a wide open design with 3 barrel spacers near the end. Currently, this one has no provision for a lanyard, although that last barrel spacer could. Again, we don't know what the final knife is going to look like. It's basically going to have this profile, and it is going to be a axis-based button lock. Again, there you can see the button has just a little bit of movement, and then it locks in place. Again, the other change is going to be the production one will not lock in place. You will be able to simply flip it open, push the button and probably wrist flick it closed. So it's going to be a beautiful little fidgety knife out of very high quality materials. And there you go. Ergos, I think, are great. If you want to lay your thumb all the way on the back, you easily can. There is, it's a smaller knife, but I have room for 4 fingers on there, including using the finger choil for the first finger. Let's get some quick measurements of this prototype of the Wharning. And I probably didn't mention that's the name of the knife, W-H-A-R-N-I-N-G, Wharning. And let me see if I can catch the point there. So overall, it's only 7 1/8, with a blade length of 3 1/8, and a sharpened edge of 3 inches. As far as the other dimensions go, and this possibly, again, could change, very slim, 0.44 across the handle, and a pretty good thick blade stock of 0.12 or 3 millimeters. I like the thickness that is carried right out to the point, but it is still an extremely fine point. Comes through quite sharp, at least this one did. A lot of these were hand sharpened in the shop. They may have been modified somewhat by Dirk as he tweaked the design. For a weight, we have 3.86 ounces. So maybe not as light as you would think, but definitely it is weight relieved inside. See if I can get a little light shining in there. There are your pockets that are milled out on both sides. So under 4 ounces, 3-inch blade, probably doesn't make the ounce per inch classification, but still. And actually, and the button is probably going to get a little better. It's like 2 stages. You can feel a little crunchiness there. But I recall the original Paul knife was very similar. Notice we've got some stonewash up here, some tumbled look, and a satin finish on a high flat grind on the blade, and that is a flat grind. Again, really nice, effective jimping on top. And although it's a smaller knife in the 3-inch category, there is plenty to hold on to here. And if you wanted to go this way, nice cap on the pommel for the thumb. You can see it stands pretty much straight up and down. Cants, again, a little bit forward. You can almost get that karambit thing going with it. Let's look at it next to some similar designs by Dirk. Here is, and somebody had mentioned when I put this out on Instagram that it would be perfect if it was a hawksbill. Well, if you wanted a hawksbill from Dirk, very similar, also made by B'Yond EDC, this is the Gara. Very similar size. My card handles on this one, liner lock rather than a frame lock. I'm sorry, this is not a frame lock. I went to great lengths to say how it was a button lock. No, it's not a frame lock. This is a liner lock. Really nice knife. Does have that hawksbill claw. I guess Gara means claw in Spanish. And it is a fuller opening only. So you can middle finger flick it very easily. And you can also thumb flick it open or roll it out. And this one's got the switchable clip. Also very similar, classic design by Dirk for concept is the Street. Street what? Main Street. I knew it was a street something. It wasn't a Street Beat. I'm thinking Spyderco there. So the Main Street, full-size Main Street, is a larger blade by about a good 1/2 inch or so. Maybe a little more than that. What is the blade length on the Main Street? I thought it was 3.5 inches. Yeah, it's 3.5 inches. Just a skosh under, maybe 3.4. This one's with the kind of faux carbon fiber handle. I think it's a laminate, similar to some of those Spydercos made in Taiwan. Anyway, very popular Wharncliffe style blade. Obviously, that's a Wharncliffe style blade. And what else have we got to show? This is the Ruffian from Artisan. No, CJRB, which is a budget company of Artisan. The Ruffian, and this again is a Dirk Pinkerton design, an AR RPM 9. And that has the opening hole. Very similar size, almost exactly the same. Dirk does like his smaller knives, with the philosophy being that it's with you all the time. It's easy to carry. It's lightweight. Nice little knife if you haven't seen these before. Notice the difference. You got an upward cant as opposed to the downward cant on the Wharning. Last but not least, throw the griptilian in there. And the griptilian's about an inch longer overall and about a ½ inch longer blade. I think these come in at like 3.6 inches. So there you go. A soon-to-be released new knife from B'Yond EDC TerraMundi line. M390 steel, titanium handle, Paul style classic button lock on the pivot. And it's going to be very fidgety. And yes, it will have a clip. So this is like the second prototype. I think I've got one more that I'm going to do that I picked up from Dirk. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Be back with you soon.